so I'm just going to send a quick little first week wrap up. Nothing too exciting, and I've just done a couple of these, so I might be all over the place because I'm essentially repeating myself for the first weekers. So what we have been focusing on is establishing different markers. So marker is just a cue or a sound that marks a moment in time that I like something, and for her that's going to announce the arrival of food. So over time there will be an association created every time she hears one of these markers. Food is presented, so then at some point she will realize that they are synonymous, and then the marker will, for her, take on the good feeling of getting food. So I'm going to use these markers to shape new behaviors, and they are going to essentially announce to her like how I want her to handle the behavior that she's in, how I'm going to deliver the food. As we progress, I will start making them a little bit different in their nuances. Right now they're kind of all the same thing to her. They just, each one of them will mean food's happening. So the different markers that I use are going to be a clicker, so just a mechanical click like this, which means that she can come and get her food. And that's going to be something that I repetitively do. Every time I click, she knows that food is happening. Every time I give one of these markers, food is happening for her. This is going to be one that I really use to build engagement. So right now, while I'm conditioning this response to the clicker, what I'm kind of waiting for is for her to look up at me so that I can kill two birds with one stone. I'm conditioning the clicker and I'm teaching her that checking in with me has value so that she continues to do it. And right now I'm doing this in a very low distraction environment, so I don't have any competing motivators. I want to make sure that I'm not fighting with her if she has interest in other things. She's definitely interested in stuff around the room, but not enough to really blow me off. So the other marker that I'm going to be using, that I really just started using, is the word good. So good is going to be something that I, over time, will use to build duration in each behavior. So when I put her into a command, into a behavior, I'm going to use the word good to show that I like that. And then I will continue good to use that marker to keep her in that behavior and build up that duration. So right now, along with everything else, she's getting reinforced pretty consistently. I want to build that pattern so that she becomes dependent on it and she finds value in doing things with me. And then over time, I'll start fading out to where she doesn't get a reward for every little thing, and that'll kind of build up her drive and wanting to do the behavior, because she's going to try to figure out when there's breaks in those rewards. She's going to try to figure out what she needs to do differently to get that reinforcement back into her sample. So the word good, stay in behavior. When I'm saying the word good, I'm bringing the food to her so that she stays in behavior. And then when I'm ready for her to come out of behavior, I'm going to say the word okay, and then have her come up out of behavior to get reinforcement. Eventually, the word good and okay, there will be something that doesn't need to be reinforced every single time. I want to just set that up now that it has those good feels. Whereas the clicker, that is going to be something that every time she hears it, she gets a reinforcement. And because the reason I like that is because, I want to have this in my toolbox for when we come into situations like if she's barking at other people or dogs on walks, or she gets into a sticky situation where she's a little stressed out. I can use this to break her focus on those things and come back and pay attention to me so I can help her out a little bit. So in order for that to happen, this has to be something that she's very dependent on getting a reinforcement from. It's just a thing. It doesn't have anything. She's doing really, really great. Really basic stuff for the first week. I'm not really naming anything just yet. I want to make sure that she's showing me everything pretty consistently before I put a name on it, just so I can avoid disassociation. I don't want to name the wrong thing or have her associate the word with a different behavior than I'm looking for. So right now I'm really just kind of luring her, getting her used to following my hand around so that I can put her into different positions and mark those things that I like so that she continues to do it. When I deliver a marker, I am making sure that marker happens before I present the food. I want her responding to the marker or the cue, and not my movement towards my pocket, or thinking that she needs to respond to my movements. Eventually down the line, I'm going to need my movement to be something that's very neutral. So I want her only responding to her different cues. The word no is something that I'm just kind of sprinkling in here and there. I'm not doing any type of corrections, at least not right now, just because she doesn't know what her expectations are. So it's not really fair to say you're not allowed to do that because she doesn't know what she's allowed to do. So when I say the word no, I'm going to pair it with a little bit of pressure, like that no, but, and then we can reward when she gets back into the behavior that I would prefer. So the jumping is a big thing. I'm trying to help her understand how to respond to leash pressure because she's not great at it right now. Naturally, she's just a baby. Dogs naturally resist pressure. So I want to teach her that she can move into pressure, that there's value in doing so. So when I put pressure on the leash, I will reward as I take pressure off, or excuse me, I will mark as I take pressure off and then present the reward. So she finds value in moving into that leash pressure. Good job. Next week we'll start going out into a little bit new environments. Right now, again, we're just keeping everything really simple. I want to set her up for success and get her all the fundamental expectations down before I start putting in distractions and building in duration and distance away from me and all that good stuff. So she's doing really good. Now with the jumping, still bad with the jumping, but everything else is very great, right, girl?
Yeah.
She's super cute. All right, we're all done.